Robert, so you are with the Jets right now. And I think, of course, the big question for Jets fans and around the league is Sam Darnold. I mean, is he your guy? And when you came in to interview with the Jets, were you mandated? Did they tell you, hey, Sam Darnold's going to be here? Or how is that going to work?
So, it's the same thing that we've been talking about. We just got here. We're just starting to watch all this tape, watch the personnel that's here, quarterback, receiver, O-line, D-line, linebackers, DBs. So you're going through that entire process. What I can tell you about Sam is that he is an unbelievable talent. There's a reason why he was the 3rd overall pick. It's very clear. Just watch the tape. I get production aside, just watch the player. He's got tremendous mobility. He's got arm talent. He's fearless. He's smart. He's quick. He's a good, precise decision maker. He's loved in the locker room. People adore him around this building. So there's a reason why he's the 3rd overall pick. And let's be real, he's 23 years old. So he hasn't even scratched the surface of life yet. So there's a lot to Sam. But there's so many discussions that need to be had and so many moving parts with regards to the rest of the roster and the whole entire building, the draft, free agency, all of it to give an answer on where we are at that point. There's just, with Joe and his staff, there's just a lot of discussions that have to be had. But at the same time with Sam, I'm not hiding behind a veil or anything. The kid's very, very talented. And it shows on tape when you really just watch it. Results aside, you just have to watch his tape to really see how talented the young man is.
So with those traits, does he fit into that Shanahan-Kubiak system that you were just talking about?
Oh, yeah. No, they do. It's, just the arm talent. If you look at it, he would instantly become the most mobile quarterback that the system's really ever had. I mean, it's, aside from maybe Jake Plummer back in the day. Or is it Jake Plummer when he was back with Denver?
Yep, it was Jake. Yep.
Yeah, so just from a mobility standpoint, to be able to create off schedule the way he does, he'd probably be one of the better ones that the system's ever had.
So Robert, let's have a little fun here. So, a lot of the public has seen you, when your defense makes big plays, rah, you're giving it up like this on the sidelines. Can you do that as an HC now, or do you have to be like the stoic, dude right there, like I can't show that anymore because I'm the guy in control?
I'm not going to lie to you. There's no way I'm not going to have enthusiasm on the sideline. Now, I am very aware of what as a coordinator, I know that I don't have to worry about 4th down. I don't have to worry about timeouts or red flags or anything like that. So I know I'm going to have to quickly transfer. But one thing I do know is I can control my emotions. And I will show emotion on the sideline, but it's not going to be I know I'll be able to get myself back quickly to make sure that I'm always making the best decision for the team and keeping myself engaged. So it's hard. I mean, when you get on game day and you've put in all that work during the week and you're seeing these young men go out there and play their butts off and sacrifice their bodies and play this game where every collision is like a car accident, and you see them make a play that can only help their future, you can't help but let out joy. I mean, I don't know how it's hard for me. I can't speak for anyone else. It's hard for me not to express that outwardly. And so I know that's still going to come out, but like I said, I'm fully aware of all the different responsibilities that a head coach might have. So I'll have to get pulled back in pretty quickly. So I'll be good.
Coach, be authentic. I think you said it earlier. Be yourself. Be authentic.
No doubt. No doubt.
Well, Robert, what's interesting to me is like Steve and I focus on this a lot in terms of trying to level this playing field and make sure that people who are qualified and capable get opportunities. And people say to us all the time, why do you guys talk about race so much? And we say we would rather not talk about race. But the reality is these coaches can't speak up for fear of retribution. And so could you, as a diverse coach, speak to maybe these conversations you have with your colleagues about the frustrations that they feel, maybe the anger that they feel, or even in sometimes conversations I had, the hopelessness that they feel about this process, knowing that even a guy like an Eric Bieniemy, whose resume seems to say he's more than qualified and has earned an opportunity but can't get it, looks like he's going to be shut out in this process. Can you speak to these fans out here or to the public and say what these coaches are feeling and what those conversations are like?
That's a good question. I can imagine, the frustration. We all can. The biggest thing is to just remain confident and faithful and have faith in what's unseen. So I've always believed that there's two types of people. There are those who believe and there are those who have faith. People who believe need to see things happen before it happens. People who have faith know it's going to happen. And you look at guys like EB, he's going to be a head coach. He's too talented. There's no freaking way that he won't be. And maybe it's not this year, but it's going to happen. And there's going to be movement. They're starting to move. Minorities are starting to move up in terms of position coaching jobs, coordinator jobs, all that stuff, and even at the quality control level. So very confident that that's going to happen. I get that it's frustrating, but you can't ever let your frustration boil over to negativity. You got to have a positive mindset and still really have appreciation, because at the end of the day, we're still very blessed to be where we are. And at the same time, just continue to do your job, be the best that you can possibly be, and just know that eventually your talent will rise to the top. And that's, the cream will always rise to the top, and Eric being one of them.
Robert, we hear so much the word culture. How do you define it as it relates to a football team?
So culture, everyone's culture. I'm with you. You hear that word. The best coach teams are the teams that coach themselves. And so always respecting the name on the front of the jersey first. And what type of person are you trying to bring in? Not just player wise, but on your staff, in the business side, on the scouting side. Like, what does this person represent when you look at the name on the front of the jersey? And bringing those people in constantly, because you trust that at the very least, you're going to have a character that's going to overachieve based on their talent level at all levels. And I'm not just, like I said, not just talking about players. And so if you bring in enough of these people that represent the name on the front of the jersey, you trust that the culture will eventually take over, because they'll start policing it themselves. And when they start taking that ownership in the organization, and they start believing that they actually have, and they do, when they understand that they are every part of what the result is on the football field as anyone else, and they feel that ownership, and they feel that investment, and all of that stuff gets reciprocated, it becomes very personal. So I believe that culture is very personal. I think culture is about investment. And I think that when everybody is invested in one another, you create that mindset of that personal atmosphere where people just want to do more for one another. And then it goes back to when that starts happening, the team starts coaching itself.